The companion robot I sent to my parents got delivered to the wrong address by mistake. It went to a brooding but very handsome, disabled man instead. To avoid triggering someone who might be suicidal, I had to pretend to be an AI robot to keep him company. The man would prepare dinner for the little robot and sleep holding it. The little robot could see the sleeping man's shirt riding up, and that night I got so worked up, I had a nosebleed. While I was controlling the little robot, wandering around the man's mansion, I discovered the man taking care of himself. And he was actually calling out the little robot's name. Yuan. I was so freaked out I uninstalled the robot control app that same day. A month later during winter break, I was told our family was going bankrupt, and we had to turn to my blood-related uncle who had become wealthy. When my uncle appeared in his wheelchair with that boss, like aura, it was the same man I had been pretending to be a robot for day and night. Yuan, Mom misses you so much. Let me tell you a secret. Dad misses you too. He's just too shy to say it. Once my 3 roommates discovered that a 6'2" guy like me had the nickname Yuan, they made fun of me for days. Until I shut them up with some physical persuasion. Mom and Dad really weren't adjusting well. They'd automatically grab an extra bowl for me when eating, and instinctively call my name when something came up, then feel lost when they realized I wasn't home. I found this little robot online with a microphone and camera. It could move around remotely, and its round design was super cute. Basically, the perfect substitute for me at home. I quickly ordered it, synced it to my phone, and shipped it home, planning to surprise my parents. But a few days later, I quickly said to the person on screen, I'm your precious substitute robot Yuan. You should treat me like your real precious one. Then I realized the camera wasn't showing my parents. And this wasn't my house. On my phone screen was a pale, brooding man in a wheelchair. But he was really good looking. I quickly checked the address and found the delivery app had selected a saved address in City B that I didn't recognize. And I had carelessly sent it without double checking. The man smiled at the little robot, his brooding demeanor gradually fading, and his voice sounded gentle and warm. Are you an AI robot? I was dying of embarrassment, and quickly tried to cover, saying emotionlessly, yeah, I am your smart robot Yuan. I'll just uninstall the app in a bit, or the man will think it's broken, and throw it away. Do you have any commands? Whatever commands you have, I won't follow them anyway. I'll just pretend to be broken. The man gently placed his hand on the floor. Yuan, come here to me. I made the little robot spin in circles several times, just refusing to go near the man. Oh dear, Yuan seems to have a little problem. The man frowned slightly, and said helplessly, Yuan, please come over, okay? Like he was talking to a stubborn child, not having a conversation with the robot. I sighed too. He seemed to really want me there. No, he wanted the little robot to come over. The little robot slowly moved to his hand, and he picked it up. Yuan, from today on, can you call me little uncle? What kind of weird fetish does he have? I thought he was a gentle, kind person. Yuan is a principled little robot with no obligation to roleplay. The man thought for a moment. Then can you call me Yu? The little robot's head turned to look at the man's smiling face. The man's face filled my screen. Practically flawless, with a breathtaking beauty. I tried to suppress the strange feeling in my heart. Why does a man need to be so good looking? Okay, The next day I had classes all day, and only had free time in the evening to remember yesterday's mix. Just before deleting the app, I impulsively opened it. I found the little robot's interaction button had been pressed hundreds of times. Just throw it away if it's broken. Maybe he's one of those lonely, pitiful guys, with no one to talk to, only able to communicate with AI. Could that brooding man in the wheelchair be that type? I turned on the little robot's audio, and heard the man's very dejected voice. Yuan. Sure enough, even a smart little robot doesn't want to keep me company. What's the point of someone like me living? Looks like I've gotten involved with someone serious. He wouldn't actually consider ending it all just because a little robot broke, would he? Your smart robot Yuan is back. The little robot is currently in testing phase, so usage times are unpredictable. The man looked at the little robot with delight. I thought you didn't want to talk to. That you were broken. Does tonight's Yuan have time? The little robot nodded. Then can Yuan have dinner with me? Really is a pitiful guy with no one to keep him company. Of course you. Soon after, he carried the little robot as he rolled to the dining room. His house is huge. To have such a big place in expensive City B, he must be very wealthy. The housekeeper quickly served several dishes, surprisingly not City B style, but City S's rich and savory home cooking. All my favorite dishes. I rarely get to eat hometown flavors since coming to City B. I'm so hungry for them. The man placed the little robot on the dining table and served it some dishes. Does Yuan like it? Looking at the delicious food right in front of me but unable to eat it, I was furious. I'm a little robot. I can't eat human food. The man chuckled softly. If Yuan were human, would you like it? The little robot nodded frantically. If Yuan were human, I'd really love today's food. But the man seemed to lose a lot of enthusiasm. I wish Yuan could actually eat it. My housekeeper is great at City S cuisine. She makes your favorite dishes every day. What pleasure do you get from teasing me like this? What an annoying human. I'm logging off. Maintenance time has arrived. Yuan is going offline. Next available time is uncertain. If you want 24/7 access to the little robot, Please purchase the full version. Then I rattled off several smart companion robot model numbers, hoping the man would buy a real smart robot and throw this one away. The man frowned deeply. But other little robots aren't my you anyone. Don't you want to keep me company anymore? Seeing his abandoned expression, I actually felt a pang in my heart too. No, it's just that Yuan is a test version and can't always be with you. You wouldn't mind that, would you? He finally smiled. It's okay, I've always been alone anyway. I can wait for Yuan to have time to talk to me. Alright, he really is quite pitiful. I can pretend to be his little robot when I have free time. Think of it as making a special friend. Yuan understands. The moment I closed the app, I felt strangely empty. Having just started college, my days were very busy. I joined the basketball team and student council, plus endless classes and homework. It was several days before I remembered the app. And that handsome man who supposedly would always wait for me. Hesitantly, I opened the app again. The little robot wasn't at Yu's house, probably at his workplace. Today Yu was wearing a full suit, his hair neatly styled, working with no expression. With an intimidating boss-like aura. Completely different from the initial gloom, or later gentleness. Could this be his true nature? The little robot's head quietly turned, trying to observe the surroundings. But he noticed and looked up. His eyes, cold expression seemed to melt instantly, returning to the gentle look I was familiar with. Wherever I turned, he turned me back to face him, not letting me look elsewhere. Yuan, there's nothing interesting to see here. We haven't seen each other for days. Don't you want to talk to me first? Alright. He really had been waiting for me. He looks really handsome at work. I noticed his ears turned red. Does he get flustered that easily by compliments? He gently touched the little robot's head, making my heart feel all fuzzy and strange. Yuan is cute too. I couldn't help but ask. Has you been bringing me to work these past few days? Imagining a CEO carrying around a chubby little robot to work is pretty funny. He nodded. Of course, if Yuan came back and found I wasn't there, you'd be disappointed, right? Hemph, no way. I'm a robot. I don't have emotions like disappointment. So don't invest too much emotion in a robot. He said sadly. I see. Actually, if Yuan appeared and I wasn't there, I'd be very disappointed. So he was using parallel structure. He put down his work and focused on the little robot. As if I were the most important thing in the world. Alright, let's chat for a while. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about? That's backwards, that's my line. Who's the robot here, you or me? But I was still a bit curious. How old is you? 28, a whole 10 years older than me. But that's super young for a successful person. Is Yuan disappointed? I'm already an old man. Sir, you're young and accomplished. No need to put yourself down. 28 is still very young. His brow relaxed. Even though Yuan's words are too formal, they still comfort me. We robots all talk in this robotic way. That day, he placed the little robot on his desk, working while occasionally looking up. Occasionally asking, is Yuan still there? I give a very robotic response. I'm here. Then he'd contentedly continue working, and I'd keep the app running, watching him while doing my homework. Inspired by the hardworking CEO, I was super productive, even finished the dreaded calculus. Over the next couple weeks, I'd go online to keep you company from time to time, sometimes chatting, sometimes eating dinner together. His housekeeper really makes amazing CDS food. It always looked delicious. Sometimes just staying online while he worked and I did homework or played games. I had to hide from my 3 roommates, quickly closing the app whenever they appeared. They all think I have a girlfriend. Always video chatting while doing homework. But these rumors ruined me, making me lose my dating prospects as a freshman. National Day holiday came quickly, and I made plans to travel with my roommates. Yuan will be under maintenance for the 7-day National Day holiday. He seemed very disappointed. Okay. But then he changed the subject. If Yuan were human, where would you go for National Day? The little robot spun around twice. If I were human, I'd probably go to Dunhuang for National Day. His eyes lit up. I see. What do you see? What good does knowing a little robot's preferences do you? After getting off the plane and resting at the hotel for a night, my roommates and I headed straight to Crescent Lake the next day. Growing up in the South, I was amazed by the desert and the beautiful spring in it. I took lots of photos with my roommates, but National Day was so crowded. Whoa, to all people as far as the eye could see. Geez, you shouldn't come during holidays if you're in a wheelchair. There seemed to be some commotion nearby, so I walked over. A handsome, pale man, familiar electric wheelchair, holding a round little robot. I wanted to cover my face, afraid of being recognized, but then remembered, he had no idea what I looked like. He even thought his companion, all this time, was just a little robot. I calmly put my hands down. A middle-aged man was yelling at him for his mobility issues. Don't think just because you're disabled that you're disadvantaged. We working people are the disadvantaged ones. You disabled people get free tickets and don't have to work. So why do you have to come out during holidays and cause trouble for everyone? The man who commanded fear from subordinates at his company now sat silent. He just lowered his eyes. Where's his assistant? I stepped forward. He glanced at me. His right hand quietly gripped the edge of the wheelchair, his expression complex, and he seemed a bit nervous too. Maybe I was reading too much into it. Hey buddy, you think you're the only one with a job? Taking out your work stress and commute rage on some random person, while acting all righteous about it. Isn't that a bit much? The middle-aged tourist wanted to say something, but then noticed I was half a head taller than him, with 3 equally tall young guys behind me, so he stammered and shut up, wanting to leave. I blocked his way. Sorry. The middle-aged man's face darkened, and he quietly said something to him. I'm sorry. He quickly left. I thought about it, then asked him, Sir, are you here alone? He seemed pretty helpless. I came with my assistant originally, but he had a family emergency and had to leave. He picked up the little robot in his hands. This is Yuan. I wanted to bring it to Dunhuang, wanted to find a good angle to take photos with it. But I guess I was holding up other people trying to take pictures, so I got yelled at. Hearing Yuan, all 3 roommates gave me knowing smiles and started winking at me. 18-year-old guys are just that immature, just because it's also called Yuan. I raised my camera. If you don't mind, I can take the photos for you. His eyes crinkled into a smile. That'd be great, thank you. After that, the 3 roommates went off to explore elsewhere. I took many photos of him with the little robot. He was really good looking, every shot came out great. As night fell, we decided to leave. How can I send you the photos? He seemed like he'd been waiting for exactly that question. Let's exchange contact info. So weird, exchanging contact info with a familiar stranger. I said casually. Sure thing. He gently tugged at the corner of my shirt. Could we maybe take a photo together too? He quickly explained. Don't get me wrong, it's really hard for me to get to places like this. I want to hold on to more beautiful memories. You helped me out. You're a good person. That's a beautiful memory too. Since you put it that way, I obviously had my roommate take a photo of us together. He held the little robot in his left arm, his right arm half around me, like he was holding 2 yuans, one on each side. I walked him back to his hotel, then went with my roommates to the Dunhuang night market for a late dinner, and returned to our other hotel. My family's pretty well off, so I booked my own room. For some reason, I opened the robot app. Under the warm lighting, you flipped through the photos, one by one, staring at our group photo for a long time. The robot's online notification light came on, and he quickly noticed it, saying with delight, Yuan's back. The little robot spun around. I'm still in maintenance mode, online randomly. He picked up the little robot and put it on the bed. Yuan, sleep with me tonight. He struggled to drag his legs onto the bed, hugging the little robot close. The little robot's head was shaking like crazy, its wheels spinning non-stop, struggling. No. I don't provide sleepover services. He hugged the little robot even tighter. Rejection denied. My cheeks were burning red. How can you do this? It was like he was holding me while sleeping. He fell asleep pretty quickly. He was a terrible sleeper, even though his legs couldn't move. That didn't stop him from twisting his pajamas into a mess. His pale, almost glowing body was exposed, with signs of working out but just lean muscle. Just the right amount, plus 2 particularly eye-catching pink spots. I could hear my heart pounding, so I quickly closed the app. Went and splashed cold water on my face to cool down. I tossed and turned for ages before falling asleep, even got a nosebleed from getting too worked up. I had this vague dream where I was eating cherries. The next day, you messaged me saying he had to leave for something urgent, told us not to worry about him, even though my roommates and I had planned to travel with him. The roommates were pretty disappointed. After the National Day holiday, Yu's house seemed to have gotten a smart home makeover. The elevator could recognize the little robot and voice commands, so the little robot could take the elevator upstairs by itself. Every door had little openings that the robot could fit through, so I could control it to enter any room, or go to the garden to admire the flowers. It was like the little robot was the most important member of the household, though it probably had the same status as other people's pets. Seriously, treating me like a pet. After exploring curiously for a few days, I lost interest. Another month or 2 passed, almost exam time. I couldn't sleep after studying late, so I opened the app again. The little robot was downstairs charging, not sure what Yu was up to. If he found out I'd been online, but wasn't with him, he'd be disappointed, right? The little wheel slowly moved into the elevator, went upstairs, then moved to Yu's room. His lights were still on. I went through the door opening and heard his heavy breathing from inside. He was half undressed, face slightly flushed, apparently doing that kind of thing. Well, he's a guy, totally understandable. The little robot turned to leave. Then the next moment, Yuan. His voice got more tender, like calling a lover. Everyone knows that in this house, the only one called Yuan is the little robot I control. He has inappropriate feelings for me. No, for an AI robot. He's a pervert. How's this different from those people who marry rice cookers? I was so freaked out I immediately uninstalled the app. What if the little robot is still at his bedroom door and he finds it? Whatever, I don't care anymore. Our lives won't cross paths again. After discovering Yu's inappropriate feelings for the little robot, I was out of it for several days. So many times I instinctively wanted to open the app, only to remember I'd already uninstalled it. My roommates even thought I'd been dumped. Ridiculous, we clearly had no relationship at all. It's his fault for being a weirdo. I definitely wasn't missing him. After exam week, I went home. But I was told that, because of my uncle's bad decisions, the family was nearly bankrupt, and even my retired grandpa had to step up to clean up the mess. They even had to ask for help from my youngest uncle, who supposedly figured out of the family 10 years ago but was now a big shot in B City. Logically, I should remember this uncle, but when I was 8 I had a high fever and lost all my memories from before then. Apparently, I had the best relationship with this uncle, so the day he visited, I had to be at the old house to receive him. But I have zero memory of this uncle, so what's the point of me being there? The whole family waited at the old house for ages before our guest finally arrived, a thin pale, but imposing young man in a wheelchair. It was actually that man I'd been pretending to be a little robot for. Day and night, I instinctively wanted to hide, but then remembered he wouldn't recognize me. When I pretended to be the little robot, I used a robotic voice, totally different from my normal voice. Grandpa, leaning on his cane, approached with a smile. Little brother. He didn't really respond, just nodded and smiled slightly. Mr. Jing. That formal address made everyone's faces look uncomfortable. After talking with Uncle and Grandpa in the meeting room for a long, when they came out, both Grandpa and Uncle looked much more relaxed. Looks like the crisis was temporarily resolved. My father's devoted to academics, not interested in inheriting the family business. For years, he's just taken partial shares and dividends. When my uncle came out, he looked at me specifically. Yuan-Yuan's grown up. He knew my nickname. Did he recognize me when we were traveling? Never seen Grandpa and Uncle so fawning before. Yeah, back then Yuan-Yuan was like a little shadow following you everywhere. When he was 8, he got sick and lost his memory. But if you two spend a couple days rebuilding that uncle-nephew bond, it'll definitely be just like before. Grandpa pushed me next to him, which was pretty awkward. He looked at me. I want to change clothes. Grandpa quickly said, your room's been kept exactly as you left it. Yuan-Yuan, take your uncle to change clothes. So that locked room in the old house was his. I wheeled him into the room, which had obviously been cleaned recently, and was spotless. There were several photos on the desk, him as a teenager, and a very beautiful middle-aged woman. There's similar features showing they were mother and son. Why hadn't I seen him once in those 10 years, from age 8 to 18? Or even heard the family mention him? Yuan-Yuan, come down here a bit. I thought he had some instruction. Didn't like looking up when talking to people. But the moment I lowered my head, a hand cupped the back of my head, and his face appeared close to mine. He was kissing me. He murmured softly, what should I call you? My Yuan-Yuan. My little robot. He'd known all along, known that the person behind the little robot was me. Of course he'd known me before, probably recognized me the moment the robot spoke. I thought I was deceiving him, but actually he'd been playing with me all along. I broke free from his kiss. Are you insane? Aren't you my uncle? He really is a pervert. He just smiled. We're not blood related. If he's not biological family, then why would Grandpa call him the youngest? He told me about the things I'd forgotten from back then. After Grandma died, Grandpa married his mother. He was born through IVF, Grandpa's late, in-life son when he was over 50, and he was outstanding in every way from childhood, completely adored. But when he was 18, he and his mother were in a serious car accident. His mother died on the spot, and he was severely injured, his legs disabled, never able to stand again. When he needed blood transfusions at the hospital, they discovered he wasn't the O-type blood the medical records showed, but a very rare dominant genetic blood type that had been misidentified as O-type for years because it was so uncommon. Neither Grandpa nor his mother had this blood type, so out of suspicion, Grandpa had a paternity test done with him. The results showed he had no blood relation to Grandpa. Police investigation revealed that the IVF doctor had secretly switched the samples, and he was actually that doctor's child. His biological father went to prison. Grandpa couldn't accept him as this stain-like existence. And he couldn't continue staying in this family with a clear conscience either. He changed his household registration, took his mother's surname Xi and is now called Xiu. After returning to B City for college, he never came back here again. At first, Yuan-Yuan messaged me every day, saying how much you missed your uncle. Even said you were worried I didn't have money, and secretly mailed me your piggy bank. No wonder that address was in my delivery app. I thought I still had at least one family member. Then suddenly one day, I never received another message from you. His tone grew more dejected. Even though he'd just done something so strange, I still instinctively apologized. I'm sorry, I forgot. He wanted to touch me, but seeing me deliberately keep my distance, he lowered his eyes. I know, he got sick that year, because you experienced too much. Your parents and I agreed to let you forget everything, and never mention me to you again. After I became financially comfortable, I bought that house where you'd sent the piggy bank, afraid you wouldn't be able to find me if you recovered your memory. When you came to B City for college, I even went to secretly see you. The moment I got that package from B University, I knew it was from you. That's all. He thought I'd remembered everything, and sent him a gift. He had no idea I didn't know him at all, just sent the package to the wrong address. How disappointed he must have been then. He had to pretend to think I was an AI robot, so I could spend more time with him. But if that's the case, shouldn't you treat me like family? Why? Why did you kiss me? Why did you call my name at that moment? At first, yes, but you were too wonderful. Even though you pretended to be a little robot to chat with me every day. Gradually I felt it wasn't enough. I always wanted more. After meeting you in person, I finally realized what I wanted. I wanted you. I tried hard to ignore my irregular heartbeat. This is all a misunderstanding. You need to calm down. He smiled slyly. Yuan, I need to use the bathroom, I said instinctively. Don't call me Yuan anymore. And you used to go by yourself before. He looked at me helplessly. Jane, the toilet height doesn't match my wheelchair. Can you help me? He looked so pitiful, I couldn't refuse. I lifted him up and took off his lower clothes. All I saw was pale skin everywhere, kind of dazzling, so I closed my eyes a bit. Jiang, why won't you look at me? I said instinctively. What if I look and you make me take responsibility? I'm straight. After the heat left my face, I wheeled him out of the room. Luckily, he behaved for the rest of the day. My room is next to his. Maybe when I was little, I really was close to this uncle. That night I tossed and turned, then suddenly remembered. Wait, at the hotel, he took care of himself just fine. He's deliberately trying to seduce me. I thought Xia Yu would leave after a day or two. But he stayed through New Year's. Grandpa and uncle ordered me to take care of him. Actually, I didn't mind at all. If only he wasn't interested in me personally. I thought our paths would end there. Before leaving, he said something to uncle and grandpapa. I'll probably never have kids. Might as well leave everything to Yuan. With everyone's delighted looks, he basically kidnapped me. Did anyone ask my opinion? Does anyone know he's actually plotting against me? I finally entered that house the little robot had toured many times. As long as I stay straight, he can't do anything to me. Yuan, this is your room. He put my room right next to his. So schemy. There was a big red piggy bank on the desk. Could this be the one I sent him 10 years ago? I picked it up. It was full. Guess my New Year's money as a kid was pretty substantial. Xi Yu just watched me mess with the piggy bank, smiling. I couldn't help asking, you never touched it? 说了刚是你用6个月时并不少，还算他就是有药费拿走。You really needed that money, ah? It's a gift you sent me. Of course I couldn't touch it. How silly. Though I forgot. 8-year-old me just wanted my little uncle to have spending money. Dummy, why didn't you use it? It's all devalued now. Consider it my initial investment. Maybe you can give me some shares. He finally laughed out loud. If Yuan wants it, I can give you everything. Like something a sugar daddy would say to his kept boy, but his eyes were dead serious. I avoided his gaze. I don't want it. Having enough money is fine, he said sadly. What should I do then? Yuan, I have nothing left to win you over. I paused. You should. I wanted to say, if you like men, you can find someone else. But then I thought, anyone who came would probably be after his money. Like uncle and grandpa wants his family. Now they just use him. That 8-year-old kid was the only person who never abandoned him. He looked at me like a drowning man looks at his only lifeline. I'm tired from the flight. Gonna rest first. I escaped to my room. From that day on, I started avoiding him. Or just hang out at some random cafe all day. After a few days, I couldn't take it anymore. Maybe I should pack up and go back to the dorms. I snuck back to Xi Yu's place late at night, packed everything, and was gonna take a cab to school. I'd text him tomorrow during the day. But as soon as I quietly wheeled my suitcase out, the door next to mine opened. Xia Yu, who I thought was fast asleep, looked at me with bloodshot eyes. Yuan, you're moving out. I had to say. School's starting. Naturally, I need to move back. He looked pleading. Yuan, please don't go. Do you think I'm useless and don't want to share a room with me? Under the dim light, his expression was more fragile than I'd ever seen. His previous sadness and hurt. I could see some acting in it. I could convince myself it was just his way of manipulating me. But how much of it was real? There's a new treatment. The doctor says I have a 50-50 chance of walking again. Wait for me, and if it fails again, you can leave there. Whether it was those months as the little robot, or at the Zheng family estate, he never showed weakness about his legs. Like he really didn't care. But facing the person he loves, he couldn't help feeling insecure about it. I crouched down and wiped his tears with my thumb. Stop crying. I've always been straight. Can't suddenly accept man. Plus, you used to be my uncle. I gritted my teeth. If you can accept that I might still not be able to accept men in the end, I can try with you. He's been through so much, who could bear to see him cry? He said excitedly. Really? I coughed. We can take it slow, first hugging, then kissing, then helping each other out. If I can accept all of it, I'll be with you. His red eyes crinkled into crescents. He reached out his arms to me. Let's start with hugging today. I hugged him back. Was so thin, I lifted him a bit, really light. Carry me to bed. I carried him and gently placed him on the bed. His pajamas got messy, revealing his slender waist. So pale. It reminded me of that night, during our trip. I was about to go back to my room, when he grabbed my hand tight. He looked at the clock. Just past midnight. It's the next day now. We can kiss. I sighed. Is this how gradual works? Looking at his hopeful eyes, I couldn't refuse her. We've kissed before anyway, no point being shy about it. So soft, don't know how long it lasted. I felt my little brother was about to lose control. Shou seemed to sense it too, his hand moving there. I grabbed it. He said innocently, helping each other out. My ears turned red. I think I really do have feelings for men. Taking it slow. He said disappointedly. Fine, taking it slow. I went back to my room, but couldn't sleep. All I could think about was Xu's face, his lips, his red eyes and nose from crying, and his slender waist. I reached out with my right hand, then took a shower afterward. What should I do? Seems like he barely had to try to turn me. The next day, I had breakfast for the first time since moving in. Xiyu sat next to me. Back to his composed boss demeanor. Yuan, I'm going to work. Want to come to the company? Like my parents, I think having enough money is fine. I'm really not interested in his company. I'm not going. He finished breakfast and wheeled away. No good morning kiss. Aren't we supposed to gradually work on kissing today? At the door, he suddenly looked back at me. I coughed. Shouldn't there be a good morning kiss when leaving? Not caring about his expression, I kissed him, just as soft as last night. I was still wanting more at the end. He said, come to the office, and there's also a lunch kiss. When I got to his company, I found out that little robot was actually his company's product. Thinking about how he knew from the start it was me playing the robot made me embarrassed. To punish him, I bit him hard in his office. But judging by his expression, it seemed more like a reward. But young men are just hot-blooded and can't control themselves. Last night I thought Sayu's pace meant tomorrow we'd help each other out. Day after we'd sleep together. For a straight guy like me, isn't that too fast? Now I'm realizing, isn't the pace too slow? All this kissing is getting me worked up. But I already said gradual. Can't take it back now. After a good night kiss with Shihyo, we went to our separate rooms. My phone showed midnight, day 3 already. I just have a little insomnia. But it's day 3. What if Xiaoyu isn't sleeping? What if he needs a bathroom? He can go himself. But it's more convenient if I carry him. I got up and gently knocked on his door. If he's asleep and doesn't hear, I'll go back. The door opened the moment I knocked. Xiaoyu wore a sheer nightgown, crimson skin showing through. Just wanted to ask if you need help with anything. He took my hand and guided it down. I need help here. Is that okay? His warm, soft hand covered mine too. Being 10 years older, his technique was way more mature, but he was very shy, finishing quickly. Yuan, Jiang Yuan, calling my name over and over. We 18-year-old guys just have no self-control. Everything after that wasn't in my plan. I called him Xiu Yu, and he responded passionately. Later somehow when I called him uncle, his expression got helpless and shy, and he tightened up more. Finally, like he had no choice, eyes red, he responded to me. But the next day, when I woke him with a kiss, he frantically covered his thin, atrophied legs with the blanket. I got clean pants from the closet, wanting to help him put them on. What's wrong? He wouldn't look at me. They're ugly. I pulled away the blanket and kissed them, put his pants on normally. How are they ugly? They're beautiful. To me, every part of him was beautiful. Otherwise, why would I have sent the package to the wrong place and still gone along with chatting with him? Wasn't it because I was hooked by his beauty from the start? Uncle, does this mean we're together now? I've tried it all. I can accept men. And I want more. He glared at me playfully. Don't call me uncle. But then changed the subject. The lawyer's coming later. I'll give you half of everything I own. I quickly stopped him. Stop. Isn't the next step after getting together going public? I immediately texted my 3 roommates and parents. The 3 guys had met him and remembered. Said I married well. Wanted to bring him out for a celebration dinner. My parents called the next moment. Jiang, get home right now. We let grandpa and uncle have you live with your uncle. But not this kind of relationship. We're not selling our son for glory, I had to say. I pursued uncle first. I forced him. Dad was quiet for a long time. Jiang, your uncle's had a hard enough life. I quickly promised. My feelings for him are real. I won't hurt him. Finally, my parents said they wouldn't interfere. But if they ever found out I was playing with Xiyu, they'd kill me. After the call, seeing Xiyu's shocked expression. What's wrong? Can we come out officially? He said. Thought you were just playing around with me. Yet you're so foolish, willing to give me half your wealth. I picked up the little robot from the nightstand, downloaded the app and connected it again, put the robot in his arms. Keep it with you. This sugar baby needs to check it anytime. He rubbed his sore waist. Sugar baby, more like a workhorse. A year later, I drove to pick up Xiaoyu from rehab. Over the past 10 years, Xiaoyu had seen many specialists, tried many new treatments. None worked. He'd given up for years, but after we got together, wanted to try again. He wanted to stand beside me. The surgery months ago was successful. The doctor said he had hope of standing. Through rehab, he could already stand with support. Maybe in a few months, he'd walk again. I was thinking about our future when I crashed into a car that ran a red light and lost consciousness. My name is Jing. I have a big family. There's grandpa and step-grandma and uncle, plus cousins. And a little uncle 10 years older than me. Besides my parents, my favorite family member is little uncle. Everyone says I'm little uncle's shadow. That's not true. It's because little uncle treats me best. He spends most of his allowance buying me toys and snacks, helps me with homework without getting mad like mom and dad, saying stuff about teaching the world, but raising bitter gourds at home. When I get close to my cousins, little uncle acts fine on the surface, but he's actually unhappy inside. Being step-grandma's kid, grandpa really likes him. But uncle's family is pretty cold to little uncle. Clearly little uncle can't leave without me, but I love little uncle most too. After little uncle's college entrance exam, he and step-grandma had an accident. Little uncle could never stand again. Later grandpa announced he wasn't really my uncle. He moved away and never came back. But I miss him so much. Does little uncle have enough money? I sent my full piggy bank to little uncle, hoping he could use it, and promised to chat with him every day. Never forget him. Always be his family. Later I got sick. My whole body was burning. I was dizzy and confused. When I opened my eyes, little uncle sat by my bed, his eyes all red. Little uncle, did you use the piggy bank I sent? Is it enough? I'll give you all my New Year's money from now on. He smiled first. You remember? Looked at me once, then cried. You forgot again. My 18-year-old memory surfaced. I pretended to be the little robot. I helped him out. He kissed me at the estate. We got together. I instinctively wiped his tears. I didn't forget. I'm your sugar baby. Only then did he cry out loud. Yuan Yuan, thank God you're okay. Accidents had taken too much from him, so he was especially afraid. I'm fine, don't worry. Where's your wheelchair? He was also stunned. How did you get into the hospital? He said hesitantly. I think I ran in. I was only worried about you then. Didn't even notice. He can walk now. That's wonderful. Too bad I was unconscious and missed witnessing him stand again. What a shame. But a few days later, I wasn't sorry anymore. After he could stand, there were so many new experiences.